Hello, Jays Nation. Welcome to Jays Nation News, where every detail of this crazy offseason reaches you before it even becomes a headline. Today we have two updates that, honestly, could be the spark for the biggest turning point for the Jays since the arrival of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And before we even get started, I want to throw out the question that's stuck in everyone's head. Do you think Toronto is hiding a massive move? Because behind the scenes, that's exactly what it feels like. If you're new here, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's go straight to our first update. Update 1. Toronto can't move Berríos, and this will completely change the fate of the offseason. José Berríos' situation has stopped being just a financial obstacle. It has now become the pressure point that influences practically every upcoming decision from the front office. It's impressive how a single contract can shape an entire offseason, but that's exactly what's happening. Toronto jumped in heavy right away on Dylan Cease, brought in Cody Ponce, and made it very clear to the league that they're not satisfied with simply repeating 2025. They want to go beyond that. They want to pitch better. They want to be deeper. They want to be ready for October from the very first day of spring training. But to expand that plan, they need to solve something that's clogging everything up. A contract that no team wants to absorb. And that's not an exaggeration. According to Ken Rosenthal, the expectation inside the organization itself is that no buyers are going to appear for Berríos, even with Toronto willing to talk. There are 3 years left, $66 million still to be paid, and a performance that, while it has shown stability in ERA, has also shown clear signs of decline in the areas that worry evaluators the most: command trending down, strikeout rate dropping, and trajectory that leaves many people uneasy about what the future will look like. And if a team doesn't see enough upside, why would it take on that money? The answer, so far, is simple: no one will. And this is where things start to get even more delicate. If Toronto really wants to attack the top of the market, whether that means aiming for a reunion with Bichette, creating room for a mega deal like Kyle Tucker's, or bringing in another impact pitcher, they need to free up resources. And every day that goes by without that space being cleared shrinks the front office's margin for maneuver. That's why I want to know your opinion. Should the Jays just pay a huge chunk of the salary just to unlock financial flexibility? Or would that be a massive mistake, considering Berríos can still offer 160 to 180 innings of stability in a rotation that desperately needs durability for 2026? There's also another crucial point being discussed internally, one that gives this story much more weight. By keeping this contract intact, Toronto risks getting stuck in a market where every minute counts. The front office knows the race for Bichette involves real competition. They know Tucker attracts half the league. They know that reinforcing the bullpen with an elite name like Robert Suarez won't come cheap. And they know, above all, that these moves only happen when there's room to act. Now think about this with me. If keeping Berríos ends up preventing Toronto from attacking two of those names at the same time, what is the real cost of holding on to him? And here's the most explosive part of this entire story. The front office already admits that it may have to accept a symbolic return for Berríos. Not because they want to, not because they think the player is useless, but because the offseason is moving too fast for Toronto to stay anchored in the past. And that raises one last question that, honestly, is going to split this fan base. What carries more weight in this equation? Berríos' current value as a back of the rotation arm, or the potential of bringing in a superstar who truly raises the franchise's ceiling? I want you to think about that carefully and answer in the comments. Because for the first time in a long time, the fans' opinion might reflect exactly the crossroads the front office is facing right now. Update 2. Toronto attacks the market like never before. Tucker, Bichette, Suarez, and a secret move that could explode at any moment. If the first update brings uncertainty, this one brings pure anticipation. And it is no exaggeration to say that the atmosphere at the winter meetings has become something Toronto hasn't experienced in a very long time. It's rare to hear so many agents, so many executives, and so many insiders describe the Jays with adjectives normally reserved for organizations that dominate the market year after year. But that's exactly what's happening. Omnipresent, aggressive, hungry. When so many sources use that language, it means the front office isn't just monitoring, it's acting. It's forcing its presence. It's pushing conversations forward. And when this type of behavior appears, it usually means the franchise truly believes its championship window is wide open and they have no intention of letting it close anytime soon. At the top of the priority list, one name has taken on massive proportions: Robert Suarez. Toronto doesn't want just another arm to fill out the bullpen. Toronto wants immediate impact. They want someone capable of closing October games without blinking. They want a top-level closer, especially now that names like Edwin Diaz, Ryan Helsley, and Emilio Pagan are already off the market. This pursuit of Suarez has intensified not just because he is the best reliever left, but because the Jays understand that to return to the World Series and win, they need to dominate the final innings. That's why Suarez has become almost a silent obsession. But the most intriguing point is another. Ross Atkins openly admitted that reinforcing the bullpen and simultaneously bringing in an impact position player would be very difficult. That could suggest Toronto would have to choose one or the other. But surprisingly, the behavior of the front office indicates the exact opposite. They are trying to do both. They are trying to strengthen the bullpen and land a major offensive addition. They are trying to do exactly what the general manager himself called very difficult. And this contrast, cautious words versus aggressive actions, is exactly what is leaving insiders both confused and excited at the same time. And that is where Kyle Tucker and Bo Bichette come in. Tucker, one of the biggest offensive talent available, visited the Jays complex in Dunedin. And even if that visit alone doesn't guarantee an imminent deal, it shows the most important thing. Tucker is willing to listen to Toronto. Could he have ignored them? Yes, but he didn't. And for a franchise that historically struggled to attract stars of that magnitude, this is already a massive sign of respect, influence, and ambition. Bichette, meanwhile, continues in deep negotiations. And even with the enormous value he holds on the market, he continues to talk with the Jays, something that would be unlikely if the franchise weren't fully committed to trying to bring him back. The defensive flexibility he showed in the World Series and his star status make the situation even more delicate and more urgent. Time is running. The market is moving. And Toronto knows it must act fast before another team steps in. And now comes a question that is lighting up the fan base, and one that no one seems able to answer unanimously. Who changes the future of the Jays more? Tucker, with his power, discipline at the plate, and immediate impact at the top of the order? Or Bichette, with his track record, emotional connection to the franchise, and value across multiple positions? If both were realistically within reach, which one would you choose? But the next point is where everything intensifies. There's a rumor circulating through the hallways of the winter meetings that although not yet publicly reported, is being repeated by well-connected insiders. Toronto may be working on a move that has not appeared anywhere. A name no major insider has mentioned. Something being handled with extreme secrecy. Nothing is leaked. And when nothing leaks, it is usually because the negotiation is too big to risk exposure. And this raises another crucial question. Do you think this is real? Because the front office's posture, quiet, selective, calculated, is exactly the behavior you see from a franchise on the verge of announcing something that shifts the narrative of the entire offseason. And honestly, based on the level of aggressiveness, the way they have been engaging with different agents, and the type of movement they have already shown, it feels like we are very close to a bombshell. The kind of move that could completely redefine what we expect from this team in 2026. So that's it, Jays Nation. Two storylines that show a Toronto torn between the weight of the past and the massive ambition of the future. Now I want to hear from you more than ever. What should be done with Berríos? Does he still have a role on this team? Or is it time to accept the financial loss and open space for a bigger name? And between Tucker, Bichette, and Suarez, which one do you believe would truly push Toronto toward a championship? And the final question, which I'll leave open for you to answer, do you feel like a bombshell announcement is about to happen? Leave your thoughts in the comments, because I read every one of them. If you enjoyed this intense update, drop a like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell, because the next video might be the one that changes this franchise's history. Thank you for watching Jays Nation News. Stay alert, and as always, go Jays go.